has been established to combat illegal mining activities in the country is most worrying. Also worrying is the fact that the attack was allegedly incited by one of our own, the Member of Parliament for Asitufi North constituency, Honorable Ebenezer Kwekuadu, who further ropes in a senior member of this House, Honorable Collins Dauda. While I'm yet to be fully briefed on the matter, I want to take this opportunity to condemn in no uncertain terms the attack on the team of security officers who have been assigned to help deal with the menace of Galamsey, which has to be dealt with robustly. Nobody has denied the attack, and we must all condemn that attack. The people of Ghana look to this House as a beacon of hope. And it is our collective duty to set a standard that reflects the values of our great nation. I want once again to take the opportunity of this formal communication to remind all of you that our actions and inactions carry immense power, effect, and impact on Ghanaians and the world at large. I have therefore instructed the Office of the Clerk and the Legal Services Office to provide all the needed support to the investigation by the Ghana Police Service within the framework of the 1992 Constitution, the laws of this country, and the standing orders of the House. I am made to understand that the member has voluntarily submitted himself to the Criminal Investigation Department of Ghana Police to assist in the investigation, as many members have done in other cases under investigation. In fact, there are so many members of Parliament that are under investigation, and my office has never shielded any member of Parliament. And many have volunteered themselves without coming through my office. And so please, let it not be said anywhere that members of Parliament are being shielded from the rule of law. Not at all. I have the copies and the list of the members involved. So while I commend this action of the member, I want to urge the Ghana Police Service to ensure that at all material times, the privileges and immunities of members, especially when the House is in session, are adhered to. It's for good reason that even if you are in the position to deal with a law enforcement officer, you cannot do that because that law enforcement officer represents the law and the country. And if you attempt to resist or even to lay hands on that officer, you are dealt with ruthlessly. So they also have privileges and immunities. So it is for members of Parliament too. But this is not to shield any member from the full impact of the rule of law. And I want it to be made clear once more that these privileges are not absolute. They must be exercised responsibly and in accordance with the laws of the land. I assure all Ghanaians, in particular the security agencies, of the full cooperation of Parliament in this investigation and all other pending investigations involving members of Parliament. With this, I thank you for your attention. Since it touches on members of Parliament and the leaders of the members are here, if you have anything to say, say it now. Starting with the minority leader.
Speaker, let me thank you for the space to add a few words to what you have just said. Mr. Speaker, indeed, democracy provides that the actors must have an opportunity to politic, do politics, share ideas, and have their views, disagree and agree. It is, however, part of democracy also for the core issues of national discourse to be agreed upon by the active stakeholders in this process. Mr. Speaker, the matter you've just raised, Galamsey, is one thing that, for the want of a better word, I must say that we as political leaders, active stakeholders of this democracy, have failed. And I say so without mincing words. We must, as political actors, know that there are matters that we have to agree upon and nip it in the bud. My recent recollection of this matter dates me back to 2015 as a young member of the Finance Committee. Honorable Setekwe, Minister of Finance, as he then was, appeared before us and lamented how Galamsey was affecting cocoa production. But did the nation listen to him? Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo put his presidency on the line. Don't go there. You may have to listen. This is an important matter. This is how committed the president was on this matter. But again, we, as the actors, were looking at the political convenience and the gains. That is why we're where we are. We are where we are. I was once upon a time the chair of Ghana Water. I saw data for myself, how the country was losing money heavily to treat water because of Galamsey. It is getting worse. Civil society is talking. Organized labor is talking. Religious leaders are talking. But they know that in us is a vested authority, the people's representatives. Mr. Speaker, can we, as political leaders, for once, agree to stay the partisan approach on this matter and deal with it and let our citizens know that this is a matter that affects the country and our own livelihoods? Perhaps the medical practitioners are not sharing with us the revealing reports in the various hospitals enough. So it's like business as usual. Mr. Speaker, I would wait for another day where we would discuss this matter in detail. But I would, by way of conclusion, say that the issue of Galamsey calls for action, collective, not an NDC MPP affair, but a Ghana affair, so that it doesn't become like who you go to the area the people are mining, and then you say, oh, because you may lose election, you don't want to talk about it, or they will even push you to be lawless, all in the interest of votes that would end up in a coffin. Do we want to be burying people every weekend and all? Mr. Speaker, let me leave the rest for the leader of the House to put out for the records, and pray that that time will come for us to have a full discussion on this matter and send a strong message to the nation that enough is enough with the partisan approach on this Galamsey matter. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for the treasure space.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I listened to you carefully, and I thought what I heard was a formal communication on the question of the privileges of members of Parliament. And I am hoping that our brief comments would focus on the question of privileges. I think what I heard you say is that you will not shield any member of this House when they are alleged to have committed offenses and the law enforcement agencies are seeking to investigate and establish whether indeed a crime has been committed for the purposes of being prosecuted or held accountable in any other form, shape, or manner. And you zeroed in on the specific instance of the alleged attack on the anti-Galamsey task force. We all heard in the media that there was an attack on an anti-Galamsey task force in Esitufi South, and I later got some indication that a member on this side of the House is alleged to have instigated some community members to resist the work of the task force. Mr. Speaker, let me indicate that yesterday I got a call from the Minister for the Interior, Honorable Muntaka, that the IGP needed the member for interrogation. I invited the member, he came to my office, and I was trying to reach Muntaka, I couldn't reach him, so ultimately I had to ask the member to go. If I reach Muntaka, I will call him back. Subsequently, Honorable Muntaka called me back. He was in a meeting when I was calling him. And I told him that I had invited the MP. He was ready to come see whoever he should see. But because we did not hear from him, I had dismissed him. So we scheduled that this morning, the member should be sent to the CID headquarters to meet with one of the deputy CID directors for processing. And so this morning, he went with our majority chief whip and his lawyer. They received him at CID headquarters, took him through the processes, and I received a call not quite long ago that he has been taken to court, and as we speak, he is actually in court being arraigned. And so let me also indicate that as members of Parliament, we do not consider ourselves being above the law, that we are always ready to be held accountable for our actions and inactions. We passed the law establishing the law enforcement agencies. We approve the appropriations to finance them to carry out these assignments that we have assigned them. And we pass the laws defining the crimes, and also we invite them to this House, and we often try to hold them accountable for the extent to which they are enforcing the law. So we as members of Parliament will not in any way, I believe, go out of our way deliberately to hamper the law enforcement agencies in the discharge of their duties. And I believe, I speak for all my colleagues, that at any time when any of us is alleged to have committed an offense, we will own up and we will be ready to defend ourselves and establish our innocence. And so, Mr. Speaker, just to assure you that MPs will do well to conduct themselves and Mr. Speaker, we will not be calling on you to shield us in any way. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, what I know is that the honourable member has flatly denied the allegations made of he instigating some community members against the law enforcement agencies, the military and the police. And I also got a call from the senior member that you alluded to, Honorable Collins Dauda. He called me from South Africa, and indeed he was very surprised because it happened in his constituency, and he was very surprised about the report that the media has put out there about what really happened. He was also of the firm belief that the report that he received is consistent with the claims being made by the Honourable Member of Parliament that he never instigated members of the communities against the law enforcement agencies. Be that as it may, he's handed himself over to the police, he's been taken to court, and Mr. Speaker, we are ready to go through all the legal processes. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, what I did was a formal communication by me on a reported attack on a team of National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat. It is not a formal communication on privileges and immunities. That was just in passing that I mentioned privileges and immunities. But as I said, those are not absolute. Honourable members, they are being investigated. They've not been convicted. And so we just want to erase the impression or perception that members are always being shielded from the due process of the law. You all know that we've never done that. It's just that because you hold some positions, just like the police, that's why I refer to the police too. That's why you refer to even the judiciary. They all enjoy some of these protections by the law. So the fact that you enjoy a protection doesn't mean you are above the law. That's just what I want to expatiate on and clarify, so that we don't all go under that cloud that the Speaker is always protecting members of Parliament from the due process of the law. I want to thank leaders for their comments, and then we proceed on to item 6. But before we do that, let me acknowledge the presence of our visitors. We have visitors from 3 institutions. The first is from Abra Asebu Kwamankese. There are 60 in number, and they come from the Abakrempa Senior High Technical School. They are led by the Assistant Head of Academics, Mr. Michael Kwajo Edua. Please, honorable members, you can see them at the public gallery on the left side of the speaker. And on your behalf, I want to warmly welcome them to the House and to thank them for taking their time to come and see what we do here. And I believe they will also learn a bit from the visit, in spite of their very tender ages. This is one of the processes we set in place. It's in motion to capture them young, so that in future, as I keep on saying, they will perform better than us. So you are most welcome. You may now resume your seats. The second group is from the Heritage Christian University, and they are coming from Amasaman, 13 in number. They are led by the Speaker of the SRC group. I told you people I have colleagues all over the country. So today one is here. He's the Speaker of the SRC group. And so you see the fire is catching on. So many areas are forming parliaments and having speakers. And it's something that you should all encourage and support. The leader is Mr. Hope Huze, and they are also at the left side of the speaker. You are most welcome, and this is your house. Anytime you get the opportunity, you can even come as an individual, not as a group, so that together we share the commitment to make sure that democracy is entrenched in our system of governance. You are most welcome. You may resume your seat. The third group is from the Ghana National Association of Teachers. Those who made it possible for us to be here, the teachers. That is the father of all professions. And I know you treasure them very much. There are 47 in number, and they are from the Kwabre East constituency. The leader of the group, Mr. Richard Ampedu, is the one who has led them here. Sir and Madam, you are warmly welcome. I treasure my teachers very well, because they made it possible for me to be here and to be a speaker. So we are extremely grateful to what you are doing, in spite of our failure to be able to remunerate you well. Don't worry, it's not the heaven that you get your reward. You will get it here. You get it here. If democracy works well, you get your reward here. So we are happy you are here to learn, to assist us, to make sure that democracy actually works and produces the dividends that can be equitably shared to all. So you are welcome, and please resume your seat and see what is going to happen next. Honorable members, votes and proceedings. We start with the correction of the votes and proceedings of Friday, 31st October 2025. page 1. Page 2. Page 3. Page 4. Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Sorry, is it page 6? Page 7, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name has been captured on item 70 as absent, but I submitted a leave of absence request. So it should be captured under absent with permission.
Honorable member, it doesn't necessarily mean that when you submit your leave of absence, you've been granted permission. It doesn't mean that at all. Kindly follow up to see whether permission has been granted. When it is granted, draw the attention of the table office so that they can correct this. If it is not granted, it means you are absent. So members, don't just file your leave of absence and take it for granted that the permission has been granted by the Speaker. Please. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, on the same page, I've been captured as absent without permission, but I was absent on a committee assignment.
The same page you are talking about, it talks about people absent. They didn't add without permission. And so you have to follow the same procedure. Cross-check to see whether you were granted permission. If not, then it's correct. If you were granted permission, then draw the attention of the table office to the error. Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, if I may seek further guide from what you have said. Speaker, the procedure now is that, at least that what we have inherited, is that the members will file the leave of absence form with the whips. And then when we endorse it, we ferry it to the office of the clerk. In fact, now the arrangement is that we do so electronically. And it is then transmitted to your office for your action. So is the delay in, because sometimes the request comes in respect of a trip that lasts for, say, 2 days. So I have all the evidence of my electronic transmitter to the office of the clerk, and then it is further ferried to your office for action. So, but what we are doing, we are correcting the votes, and once we correct it and adopt it, then it is gone. So members have come to see me regarding this matter just today. So my intention was to engage the clerk after today's procedure and see how we can streamline things. If the procedure can be shortened, then we can ferry directly to your office for action, or if somebody can be designated. Yes. No, that's what I do.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't know if that is the new procedure, because if you pick up the form, it's for the caucus leadership to recommend, and then the next portion is the speaker. There's no column for the clerk. Maybe if we get further clarification from it, because my understanding and the practice have always been the case that if leaders endorse, it goes to the speaker. The speaker elects based on communication to us, other of the deputy speakers working on it. So I don't know, Majority Chief Whip, if maybe our info, because when we endorse, we know it goes to either of the speakers. But in the form, it says the speaker, and then it goes there. I don't think the clerk have a role to play on it based on what has been provided on the form.
Mr. Speaker, I was very clear in what I said. It's about procedure of submission to Speaker's office. I'm saying the procedure I inherited, and what I agreed with clerk was that when we endorse the forms and you stamp it, it is ferried. Yes, you recommend, actually. When you recommend for approval, it is ferried to the clerk's office for onward transmission for Speaker's approval or otherwise. We don't send it directly to Speaker's office. So this can be streamlined. I don't think we can litigate this matter. I didn't indicate that the clerk has a role to play by signing a portion, or there's a portion indicated for his signature or otherwise. I'm only talking about
Honorable members, you don't need to split hairs over this. How many of you seated here have your copies of the standing orders? Yes. Yes, I can see. Yes. Please, standing orders, it could be on your phone or whatever. Can you all read Order 15? Order 15. Then you judge for yourselves which of your leaders is right. I think on a daily basis, I have to be conducting an exam on these standing orders. For the sake of the public, I'm going to read it because it's a thorny issue here. Leave of absence, Order 15, Rule 1. A member shall attend sittings of the House unless the Speaker grants leave of absence to the member in writing. Are we clear? You grant the permission in writing. Rule 2. A member seeking to be absent shall complete a leave of absence form as specified in the second schedule. Rule 3. The leave of absence form may be obtained from the office of the clerk, the table office, or the office of the chief whip of the caucus of the member. Rule 4. A member shall submit the completed leave of absence form to the chief whip of the caucus of the member not later than 72 hours prior to the intended date of absence. 72 hours. Is how many days? Is how many days? 3 days. The chief whip of the caucus of that member shall, not later than 24 hours after receipt, transmit the completed leave of absence form with recommendation to the Speaker for consideration, not to any clerk, to the Speaker for consideration. The Speaker may, within 24 hours of receipt, grant the leave of absence to a member who shows sufficient cause. It's not automatic. So if you submit a leave of absence form to me and state that you are visiting your girlfriend, I should grant you leave of absence. Your girlfriend is sick. So please, Rule 7 says, Rule 7, the office of the Speaker shall, within 24 hours after the decision of the Speaker, transmit the decision to the member through the office of the clerk. The decision of the Speaker shall be recorded in the votes and proceedings. This is the procedure. So if the clerk's office don't receive a written permission from the Speaker, they cannot submit it to the table office for it to be captured. And we've given timelines for all this to be done. In fact, I'm surprised with this mention of the electronic copies that are transmitted to the clerk, and the clerk is to forward them to the Speaker. I'm surprised.
Speaker?
Yes.
That is the procedure.
Which rule says so? You are a lawyer.
Speaker, yes, Speaker. Order 15, Rule 1 up to 8 that you just read.
Yes.
Now, the issue is with when we are done as whips. When we are done as whips. Because practically, it's not every time that, Speaker, you are in situ. And yet the approval must come. So I recall vividly my discussion with clerk. So we transmit. Once the approval comes, we transmit. He made the point that he's able to communicate with you electronically sometimes. So even though you are not here, it can be done. Approval can be given. And it's more expeditious than me carrying a file of, let's say, 15 leave of absence recommended forms, coming to your secretariat. You are not available, you are unavoidably not around, and we leave it. Meanwhile, the 72 hours is ticking. So these are administratively enhanced means of getting the approvals readily done. Speaker, I don't think that it varies or it departs from what the procedure provides at all. It's about the means of ferrying the recommended leave of absence applications to you expressly.
Your focus is on the electronic, the mode. But I'm talking about the person. Well, your earlier submission was that you forward it to the clerk, who then sends it to the Speaker. And I'm saying it's not so by the rules. In fact, that was what Honorable Habib also stated, that it is direct from you, the Chief Whip, to the Speaker. And if you see that, because we put structures in place, I don't need to be present. And I've communicated to you, leaders, as to who I have put in charge of that process. May we move on now? Page 8. Yes.
Can I take you back to page 7? Page 7, item 50. I was marked absent, but I was on the committee work outside the office.
So follow the same guidance I gave to the earlier ones. Follow up and see whether you were granted permission to absent yourself.
Thank you, Mr.
If
Speaker.
you were granted, then you draw the attention of the table office to rectify the error. Page 8. Page 9.
Are getting a lot of letters from ministers. I'm not available. I'm not available. I'm not available. I would want to use the opportunity to plead with leader of government business to see to this matter, because, Mr. Speaker, if members have their questions some time bound and ministers are not available and it's all about I'm not available, and some of these letters come the last minute and it get communicated to leadership, it makes life quite difficult. Mr. Speaker, the ministers owe a responsibility to this House. Mr. Speaker, I will not belabor.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we discussed the issue of scheduling ministers at business committee on Thursday, and we agreed that we should always try to ensure ministers are aware before we schedule them. And if they are not available, they can indicate a convenient date. And so I have not received letters. In fact, I've just received communication from the Minister for Roads, who we all know is very punctual and comes to answer all questions, that, for instance, tomorrow he has some questions, but he has to be in Solar Tuna Kalba area for salt cutting, so he will not be able to make it. He wants his questions rescheduled to Thursday. So those type of indications come. The minister who is scheduled to answer questions today was supposed to come last week, but then she requested that we schedule her today, and today she is here to answer all the questions. Mr. Speaker, I think that we have been doing well with scheduling questions. All questions are being asked. Indeed, last week, there was even a question asking the minister how many shrines we have in Ghana. There was a question about the number of shrines we have in Ghana. You were not there. Your side had opportunity to ask all sorts of questions, including how many shrines are in Ghana. And the minister was here to answer to the question of how many shrines are in Ghana. So I can assure you that the ministers are always available to answer questions. If they cannot make it for some reason, they have to write. And when they notify us, we reschedule them. So I don't think there's a problem with ministers, showing up to answer questions. It's normal business. If you are not available, you write, and they write.
Yes.
Speaker, ordinarily I wouldn't have come in because the two leaders have related to the subject matter. Just to put a bit of, for want of a better expression, a twist on it, because I've sat in the business committee and this matter has come back and forth. And the majority leader will concede that the trust of the minority leaders concern is a trend that is increasingly emerging. This House has the powers to determine when ministers should be in this House to respond to questions, not the reverse. And the trend emerging is that The questions go through the process, and I must commend the table office, doing a wonderful job. And all we hear is that I'm not available, I'm not available. Fine. You can write to communicate to this house that you are not available. But it will take this house to tell you whether your reasoning will be acceptable to this house or not. What is happening? Now, and he mentioned the road minister. In fact, as for the road minister, in fact, if there is any minister who is always in the chamber, with the greatest respect to my colleagues who are ministers, the road minister is always here. We are not overly simplifying this matter and revolving it around the road minister. And majority leader, look into my eyes and listen. Listen to me. Majority leader, listen to me today. When the majority leader talks about a member asking questions about a number of shrines, do you know what you are seeking to do? And that's very typical of him. He will try to trivialize the matter and then off we go. No. No. Because the time for the ministers to respond to questions has to be determined by this house. Why? You want to take over our oversight powers? You want to take it?
Second Deputy Speaker to take the chair.
So this matter, we will have to exhaust it. We will have to exhaust it. So I'm simply saying that we must set the date, and that has been the practice of this house. And where the ministers cannot attend upon the house, they must write. That is the basic process and practice. The ministers might write to us, and the house will determine whether to accept or not. Where the minister cannot come, his or her deputy should be able to come to this house. So we have questions piling up, a number of questions that are piling up, and we are not getting answers. It's worrying. Majority leader, maybe we may have to reflect on this matter more at the business committee and develop a way out. We cannot leave these questions hanging. No, it cannot be. And not, no, I'm not, yes, no, we will allow, it's a matter we have to talk about. We will allow our colleague, our respected minister, we will allow her. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm inviting you to direct, and the powers of the business committee are defined. The business committee cannot take a decision for plenary. No, we cannot. You can only come with a proposed program subject to an endorsement by plenary. So, majority leader, with respect to you, when you say that the business committee, you know, you are a respected lawyer, we respect you. You are going beyond your powers. So, the business committee will have to look at this matter again. And Speaker, we insist, we on this side of the house insist. Not too long ago, you were here. You were asking all the questions. Why are you shielding the ministers? Speaker, I want to look into the eyes of the majority leader, Mr. Majority Leader. Why are you shielding your ministers? You said you have achieved so much within 1 year. Come and answer questions. You are writing all manner of excuses. Within a week, we have received so much of excuses. Why? Maybe the Mr. President should be looking at the first reshuffle. So far, so many. The ministers must come and attend upon this house and respond to questions coming from the people's representatives. We on this house cannot take it lightly. So, majority leader, now you are looking into my eyes. We will be expecting the ministers to respond, and they must respond.
Leader, I think the minister is here.
The minister is here, yes, but the majority leader must tell us something.
You should know your friend Kwame Buja is also sitting here.
No, because I'm not talking about the road minister. The road minister is an exception. He knows. In terms of his presence in this house and delivery. The road minister, even though my road is not done, that's fine. But he's always here. The road minister is always here. So, majority leader, I beg you. We may have to look at this matter again at the business committee and maybe structure a roadmap.
Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, in all this, he hasn't displayed to this House one single letter asking for extension of time by any minister. Not one single letter. He has not shown one single letter. And yet he has said more than 100 times since he was on his feet that ministers write letters asking for postponement. He hasn't shown one single letter from a minister asking for postponement. Evidence. Evidence. You see, the reputation of a whole group is at stake here. That is the ministers. Some of the highest placed appointments in the country. And when you stand here and say that when they are asked questions, they write letters seeking postponement and etc., stating that they are unavailable, and you don't display one single letter, it's not good. It's not fair to them. So please, show me the letters. No letters. And I'm not saying that you ask trivial questions. No. I didn't say that. No. I'm saying that you are free to ask all sorts of questions. And that you even asked a question about the number of shrines in Ghana. I said last week, you wanted the Minister for Local Government to tell us how many shrines we have in Ghana. And the minister came here and gave an indication that he didn't know the number of shrines we have in Ghana. I'm giving an indication of the type of questions you ask and how those questions are transmitted to the ministers, and the ministers come and answer those questions. I'm not trivializing your questions. You ask a question about how many shrines we have in Ghana. And the Minister for Local Government, Rural Development and Religious Affairs left his office, came here and answered the question. So please, ministers do show up and answer questions. Where they are unavailable, they indicate that because they also have responsibilities. And I just gave you an example. The Minister for Roads and Highways is sitting here. He is scheduled to answer questions tomorrow. Then he has to go and do sword cutting in the Savannah region. And so he's just asking me if I can reschedule his questions to Thursday. And I just agreed with him. He says, I said he should write. And he's written. But when there's good cause, the rules are clear. Let me just read the rules again. Rule 77. 1, 2, 3. A minister, a member, or the head of an independent constitutional body shall, by order of the House, attend a sitting of the House to answer a question. Question time shall ordinarily not exceed 1 hour, except that the Speaker may permit a question after the expiration of the time stated. Rule 3 is, sub-rule 3 is where I really want to focus on. A minister, a member, or the head of an independent constitutional body shall not take more than 3 weeks, upon receipt of a question from the House to respond to the question. So ministers have 3 weeks upon receipt of the question. And if you recall, at the last business committee meeting, you were not there. By the last business committee meeting, I raised the issue of whether or not the table office deal directly with the ministers or with their staff. I raised that issue at the meeting. You recall? And they confirmed that they have a scheduled officer at the ministry that they deal with. And I said, how sure are you that when you deal with a scheduled officer, the minister has actual notice of the question and the time scheduled for the minister to come and answer the question? And they admitted that there was no guarantee that when you deal with a scheduled officer, the minister does have notice. At that meeting, I said, let us make it a practice as a committee, business committee, that we will always call the ministers and let them know that we have scheduled them on certain days so that they are aware. And there and then, we started calling the ministers. And the ministers did confirm that they didn't know about the pendency of those questions or the schedule of those questions. And for some of them, the dates that we scheduled were not convenient So we directly engaged them and rescheduled it to dates that was convenient, including the minister who is here today. Ask her, she's here. We called her, and she said she wasn't available the day that we scheduled her. We asked when she'll be available. She gave today. That's how come all her questions have been scheduled, and she is here. So the issue has always been the way that we do business. Because the rule says the minister should be the one that should have notice of the question, and he's the one that must come, and he has 3 weeks to come. But when we run our practices in a way that the person that should have notice doesn't have notice, you can't blame that person for not coming. That is the issue that the speaker just addressed, where even leave of absence, the communication does not get to the person who is supposed to grant the leave. So let's also iron out our practices and our procedures so that we can comply strictly with our rules. So we cannot say that the ministers are not coming to answer questions and that they are always, asking for change of dates and etc. Because the rule is that we engage them, we agree with them when they can come, but then they have 3 weeks within which they must come. Those are the issues. Mr. Speaker, the minister is here. I think that the rule is clear. We shouldn't exceed 1 hour of question time, except with your discretion or leave. So let's have the minister answer the questions. These issues, you and I should take them up at business committee meetings and resolve them. It's the province of business committee.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, not to belabor the point, just to establish one fact, and I see colleagues, my respected Honorable Jinapo wants to speak. You see, the point must be made that we on this side appreciate the fact that we can disagree to agree, and we should get practical. Leader, there are times you engage us and say that, I recall not too long ago, we had to reduce the number of follow-ups as a result of our engagement at the business committee. It was because of the exigencies of the business that we had at that time. Our problem is that it is against our practice for the table office to be told that you must seek the availability of the minister before you schedule the question. That is wrong. Parliament must schedule the question and the ministers must respond. For instance, where the road minister, you were citing an example of the road minister. There are times we even reschedule at conclave without necessarily receiving a formal correspondence from the minister. So, majority leader, get the point that we are with you. We want businesses to be done. We want to get clinical. But Parliament cannot be at the discretion of the executive. No, that cannot be.
It cannot.
No. It cannot be.
It cannot.
We must schedule. And our scheduling is not based on the availability of the minister. Yes. When we schedule and leader, listen to me. When we schedule and the ministers are not available, it's their duty to write to Parliament. Otherwise, our oversight will be undermined. So I'm saying that to say that we should seek the availability of the minister before we schedule, that is wrong and it's against our practice. And the business committee cannot make that determination for plenary. That is where I want to revert the mind of the majority leader so that we can make progress. Where the ministers for the minister is engaged and he cannot come, sometimes they don't even write. They call us the leaders. And we have often acceded to it. So, leader, don't get it wrong. We are not saying that even where the minister cannot come, we are insisting that the minister should be here. No. Where there are genuine reasons, we are reasonable to know that we have to accede to those reasonable grounds being given. But when it becomes like Parliament must call the minister must accede before this scheduling is done, that for me is against the practice. And we'll be undermining our oversight as an arm of government. That's my simple view. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, the point being made is not that ministers, because it might just be that the ministers are not even aware, because sometimes I come here and I'm sitting here, I notice that the minister has questions, he's not aware, I call him, Minister, you have questions to answer. The problem that I face then is that he's not aware of the question, he's actually ready to come, but then he's not prepared to answer the question. He's not prepared, he hasn't been properly briefed. And when ministers come without being properly briefed, it becomes embarrassing for me here when they appear not to be on top of their brief. So I prefer that the ministers are aware, have prepared, are on top of their brief, then they can answer the question competently to the satisfaction of the members. So at that meeting, we then said, is it possible for us as a committee to always call them to be sure that first they are aware, and secondly, to agree with them on their availability. And I'm saying that the rule says that he must show up within 3 weeks upon receipt of the question, within 3 weeks. So it means that he has 3 weeks latitude to negotiate with you. If he receives it today and you call him and say, I've scheduled you tomorrow morning, he can say, no, I'll come in 2 weeks' time. Or even a day before the expiry of the 3 weeks. He has that latitude. So when he gives that indication, he is not saying that the legislature is being subjugated to the whims and caprices of the executive. You gave him 3 weeks. Your rules say 3 weeks. So it gives him, ample room to fix the time when he will come and answer the questions within the 3 weeks. So I don't see where we are sending this. So let me just plead with Mr. Speaker that let's have the minister answer the questions. Because if you also summon ministers to come and answer questions, and they come and they sit there, and then you engage in long, winding arguments and debates about the questions that they are here to answer.
Well. Leader.
It's very important. When he says that ministers come here and we elect to engage in long discussion, that is most unfortunate to come from the majority leader. This is the Parliament of Ghana, and we determine our business. The ministers, we are not part of the executive. This is an arm of government. Now I'm talking to ministers.
Yes,
I'm talking to ministers.
But incidentally, he's also a member of Parliament. So,
Mr. Speaker, that comment is most unfortunate. To say that we engage in long, winding statement. Oh, majority leader Abba. One Abba. Oh, you made a fantastic point. That one is unfortunate. Redraw that part. This is Parliament. Everything here we say, we speak to makes sense. It makes sense. Everything we are saying here is important. Long, winding debate is important.
But
ministers must contain us.
Leader, about 80% of the ministers are already members of Parliament. So once they come here, they come their home to do business. Being a minister is just an additional responsibilities. So just saying we allow them to sit there, I don't think that was right. Because they've come to their house and they are coming to do business. Irrespective of the fact that they are ministers, they've come as members of Parliament. So they are not here being wasted time. So on that score, I don't think I'll be with you.
Mr. Speaker, there can be long winding arguments that are very, very intelligent and sensible. Very intelligent, sensible, long winding arguments that educates members of this House, engages us, excites us. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm not even saying that the arguments are not sensible. They are very sensible. Yes, they can be long. It is good. I'm just encouraging us when we summon the ministers, and they come, of course, they are members of Parliament and should ordinarily be here as members of Parliament. But don't forget that our Constitution has partially merged the executive with the legislature. And so we have members of the executive who have executive functions, at the same time have legislative functions. And Mr. Speaker, we know the cost of running government, and we know that it has been very costly. And so when we reduce the size of the number of ministers, we must also accompany that with greater efficiency in the use of ministers' time. That is all that I'm pleading for. That when they come, let's have them answer their questions so that they can get back to work at the ministries.
Okay, Minister, I'll call you, but I think Honorable Jinapor has indicated to speak. So, Honorable, let's be snappy before I get to the Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this very important discussion. Mr. Speaker, the majority leader talked about all sorts of questions, and referred to a question which sought to ask the minister the number of shrines in Ghana. Mr. Speaker, may I refer the House to Order 85-1. Mr. Speaker, I read. Order 85-1 states, the Speaker is responsible for the admissibility of a question. Mr. Speaker, therefore, any question which is scheduled and asked in this House must pass the admissibility test, and is the Speaker who determines which question is admissible or not. And Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that you have a criteria and you have a very high standard in determining whether a question is admissible or not. So, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest of respect to the majority leader, there cannot be all sorts of questions. Mr. Speaker, the questions that are admitted by Right Honourable Speaker are questions that the Speaker, pursuant to Order 85-1, has determined that are questions which are relevant, are questions which ministers must spend their executive time to answer, and are questions which further the interest of our country. So, Mr. Speaker, I would regret to suggest that a particular question is a sort of question, and that if somebody wanted to know the number of shrines in Ghana, somehow or other, is a sort of question or a trivial question. The Speaker has admitted, finally, Mr. Speaker, finally, when you look at Order 77, Mr. Speaker, Order 77 sets out clearly the procedure to be adhered to for ministers to answer questions. 77-1, 2, 3. It sets out copiously the procedure to be followed. Mr. Speaker, in all humility and modesty, when we were on your right-hand side and we had the privilege to serve in government, Mr. Speaker, I have spent 4 or 5 hours in this House before to answer questions. My brother, Honorable Asensubuachi, tells me that he's also spent sometimes 6 hours, 7 hours to answer questions. Mr. Speaker, and if we ever by some, Mr. Speaker, you get here, you are scheduled, you get here at 10 o'clock, sometimes 2, 3, 4 o'clock is the time that you are admitted, and you spend 3, 4 hours answering. But what is the point? The fundamental point I seek to make, Mr. Speaker, the fundamental point I seek to make, and when we missed questions, there was a whole brouhaha. The fundamental point is this: answering questions before the House, Mr. Speaker, the principle behind it is accountability. And that is the point the Minority Chief Whip is making. It is the extent to which we take the business of the House serious. So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the majority leader is right. Is right in saying that we should allow the Minister of Fisheries to answer her questions. But the fundamental point is that admissibility is by Speaker, and answering questions goes to the root of accountability. And finally, the windy arguments, the majority leader has most of it. He takes a bigger bite of the windy argument. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Kojo,
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on a point of elucidation, Order 77-1, I think we have to...
I'll come to you, please.
Yeah, on a point of elucidation, Order 77-1, and I think we need to pay attention to the language. If the office can, increase the volume of the microphones. It's a bit low. Mr. Speaker, Order 77-1. I think we need to pay attention to the language that the standing order uses. A minister, a member or the head of an independent constitutional body shall, by order of the House, attend a sitting of the House to answer a question. The spirit of this standing order is not to suggest that it is a negotiation or it is a request or it is a plea or a favor that a minister is doing this House to attend upon it to respond to questions. In fact, properly speaking, it operates as though it is a summons, except that there's a period within which notice is given for the minister to prepare. And so, Mr. Speaker, just to say that we should be careful about this interpretation that suggests as though, we have to negotiate with ministers and as and when they can, they attend upon this House. The proper language is that it's by order. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the majority leader has, I think it's almost the same thing. If you, by order, but if indeed the time the question gets to the minister is not available. So we need to, obviously we need to negotiate it. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I don't think there is any disagreement here. By order of the House, a minister must come here and answer questions. If it's an urgent question, it is treated differently. If it's an oral question, it is treated differently. But the same standing order says that he has 3 weeks. He has 3 weeks upon receipt of the notice. Upon receipt of the notice, he has 3 weeks or she has 3 weeks. So if I, as head of government business, leader of government business, say, let me engage with the minister within that 3 weeks to see when the minister is available to come and answer the questions. Mr. Speaker, once your own rules say the person has 3 weeks, the person has discretion within the 3 weeks. I didn't make the rules. The rules say the person has 3 weeks. It means that if I say come next week, say, no, let me make it the following week. I'll be better prepared because you ask questions about facts. So for instance, if you ask a question such as, how many shrines are there in Ghana? It takes time to count shrines. First you have to identify the shrines.
Thank you, leader.
The location of the shrines.
Leader, thank you so much. So, honorable members, let's turn to item 7 in page 2. And we start the questions with that of Honorable Duke William Allen Kwame Amoako Atta Ufuli Atta. The name again, Duke William Allen Kwame Amoako Atta Ufuli Atta, a member for Fantiakwa South. Yes, honorable member, if you are available, you have the floor now.
Mr. Speaker, I rise on Order 88.3 to seek your permission to grant me the permission to speak, to ask this question on behalf of the honorable member for Fantiakwa South. I have his authorization to ask his question.
Very well, leave granted, you may go on.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The question from honorable member for Fantiakwa South is to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the steps being taken to operationalize the one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system in 2025 and how this reform will improve regulatory compliance and investment in the aquaculture industry. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Respectfully, Honorable Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker, the Government of Ghana acknowledges aquaculture's role in food security, employment, and economic growth. The current process for obtaining aquaculture licenses involves various regulatory bodies, each with its own requirements and procedures, creating a fragmented system. This arrangement has resulted in overlapping regulations, manual processing, and delays. Aquaculture operators are required to liaise with multiple agencies, which increases administrative tasks and prolongs the approval process, impacting the sector's efficiency. The Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, through the Fisheries Commission, is introducing a one-stop-shop aquaculture licensing system designed to simplify and coordinate the permitting process in Ghana. The goal is to establish a unified digital platform that consolidates approvals from key regulatory agencies, aiming to improve efficiency, transparency, and delivery service within the sector. Preparatory measures undertaken include the development of guidelines for the aquaculture permitting system, providing information on licensing procedures and requirements. Additionally, a draft memorandum of understanding has been prepared involving the Fisheries Commission, Environmental Protection Authority, and the Water Resources Commission to support collaboration in developing...
Minister, hold on. Honourable members, there are too much discussions going on. Please, we have brought the minister here. Let's listen to her. The discussions in the chamber is too much. Yes, Minister.
Additionally, a memorandum of understanding has been prepared involving the Fisheries Commission, Environmental Protection Authority, and the Water Resources Commission to support collaboration in developing and implementing the system. Software development for the one-stop-shop platform is complete and being tested currently for full rollout planned for 2026. The fishery staff are being trained on the software management and the whole process for complete takeover and implementation in the coming year. This reform, Mr. Speaker, is intended to enhance regulatory compliance, facilitate investment in the aquaculture industry, and reduce in-person interactions by introducing a more transparent and trackable approval process. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honourable member, any further questions? Yes, honourable member for Bosome Frem.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I first and foremost want to commend the government and the Minister for Fisheries for continuing a process that has been in the system since 2022. Mr. Speaker, I only want to ask that the National Fisheries and Aquaculture Policy that was enacted in 2020, again, the Ghana National Aquaculture Development Plan between 2024 and 2028, was working on this one-stop shop licensing. I want to ask that the new plan or development that they are doing, has it abandoned all these provisions and regulations or things that were being done by the 2022 policy or the plan for 2024-2028 entirely, or some of those plans have been incorporated into the new one that has been completed? Thank you.
Yes, Honourable Minister.
Thank you very much. Those plans were reviewed. The process that we inherited were reviewed and improved, and that is what we are rolling out now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, no, I wouldn't give him two opportunities. Yes, Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister tells us that this one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system in 2025 has seen some ministerial intervention. may I know from her what exactly she means by one-stop shop aquaculture licensing system?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. By statute, it is the Fisheries Commission, the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, that supervises aquaculture. However, to get a license, there are a number of different entities in Ghana that have to do their part. So you have to get some license from EPA, you have to have Fisheries Commission itself license you, and you have to have the Water Resources Commission also do their bit. What is happening is that increasingly, people who are interested in investing in aquaculture have to go between and among all these agencies running around. In fact, one of the farmers said to us that the Fisheries Commission that provides more help to his enterprise, he pays less to Fisheries Commission than to EPA and to Water Resources Commission. So the one-stop shop licensing regime is developing a platform that brings all these licensing processes at a place, at one place. So you can even sit in your bedroom and put in your requirements as each entity requests of you, and the process is done and you get your license. We are doing this together. So EPA, Water Resources Commission and Fisheries Commission have been working closely together in developing the one-stop shop licensing permits regime. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Yes, Leader.
Speaker, with respect, the Minister's explanation takes me to the point she herself raised in respect of the platform that is going to be used to achieve this. She tells us that there is a software that has been developed to achieve this. May I know from her the costs involved in this? As you may be well aware, the program started somewhere 2022 and some costing was done. Is she able to tell us whether the previous cost is being maintained or that the ministry has arrived at a new cost for this particular procurement?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Indeed, there was very little progress done from the reference point of 2022. We've had to sort of revamp the whole process. But as I stand here right now, I do not have the actual figures. If Parliament permits, I'll provide it later.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I think it is only fair to oblige the respected minister to make the costing available at a later date, since she's committed for Hansard. So I would oblige her. But may I know whether it's the procurement of this software went through competitive tendering or it was sole sourcing, and if so, whether PPA was at all involved in the processes that arrived at this decision?
Very well. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you very much. As my answer stated, this work was done through the Fisheries Commission. I will come back to you with answers to your questions. Thank you.
No,
that is in respect of the procurement. Okay, very well.
Yeah, Honorable Minister, Mr. Speaker, question time is not a platform or a time for debate. But you see, when the minister herself gives us information, the presumption is that all the facts are at her disposal. If you come to the House of Parliament to say that you have undertaken a procurement and a software developer has been selected for a particular purpose, a question will necessarily follow. So if you now say that you don't know, it becomes a problem. I want you to provide clarity on this matter. Is it that you would want to come at a later date with the details of the procurement for this House to peruse? Because this is critical, with respect.
Leader, I don't think he said he doesn't know.
Mr. Speaker, that's why I'm saying clarity. Mr. Speaker, that's why we are having this engagement. Clarity, with respect.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So let me assure you that the proper procurement processes were followed, have been followed throughout since I assumed leadership of this ministry, this sector. Your specific question was what type of procurement approach was used, whether by single, there's nothing like sole source, I'm told, there's single source or whatever, and that is what I'm saying, that I'll provide you the information later, but I want to assure you that the proper procurement processes were followed to procure the software that is being deployed now. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, to bring a closure to this, since we always want to encourage our countrymen and women to be players in the private sector, may I know from the minister, in view of the answer given, whether or not this software which was procured is an entity within our jurisdiction. In other words, simply put, is the software provider a Ghanaian? Because, Mr. Speaker, sometimes we hear that the opportunity, goes out of the country.
Is it a Ghanaian or a Ghanaian company?
A Ghanaian company. Mr. Speaker, I mean, the company persona. So if I say Ghanaian, obviously, but I thank you for the guidance. A Ghanaian company. I just want to know.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, is a Ghanaian entity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, we turn to question 347. Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the minister is saying sole source is different from single source, and now it's a Ghanaian entity. Mr. Speaker, we want clarity. Entity, in what context? We just want to know. Ghanaian entity, bring clarity. Ordinary language, simple language for clarity. Is it a Ghanaian registered company? Is that what you mean by entity? I want to know.
Yes, Minister. It's a Ghanaian company, that's all.
A Ghanaian entity.
That's what he wants.
A Ghanaian entity is a Ghanaian. A Ghanaian.
Is it a Ghanaian company?
A Ghanaian
registered in.
A Ghanaian entity in Ghana. Thank you.
Very well, thank you. Let's turn to question 347. Question 347. And the question stands in the same honorable member, Honorable Duke William Allen Kwame Amoakwata Oforiata, a member for Fantiakwa South. So, honorable member for Etiwa West, you may ask the question for your colleague.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to ask a question on behalf of the honorable member for Fantiakwa South, that when the proposed Blue Economy Commission will be established and what legal or institutional framework will guide its operations. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the noise in the chamber is too much. So that's why you didn't hear. You are saying you can't hear her. Yes, Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, Ghana's blue economy relies on the interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, climate resilience and human well-being, supporting sectors such as fisheries, maritime transport, tourism, oil and gas, renewable energy, as well as marine biotechnology. These sectors are vital for GDP growth, employment, food security, and trade. In line with this, Cabinet approved an interministerial technical team supervised by the Senior Presidential Advisor on Governmental Affairs to develop a national blue economy strategy and to recommend the appropriate legal institutional frameworks. The draft strategy and framework have been completed and are currently under Cabinet review. The Ministry is also awaiting feedback on a request to African Union Inter-African Bureau for Animal Resources to support the development of the implementation plan for the strategy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member for Swami, Honorable John Darko.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have taken notice of the question asked and the answer provided by the Honorable Minister. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the question is asking specifically the proposed Blue Economy Commission as to when it will be established. But the answer doesn't address that question at all. The answer is talking about completely different things. Even though I believe that your answer, you can say that you give an answer you want. But, Mr. Minister, I believe that the answer that Madam Minister, the answer that you provide must actually resolve the question at play. The question
Honorable John Darko.
Yes, it's not answered. Madam Minister, you may want to have a look at your answer to the question.
Honorable Member.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
That is your understanding. The Minister has researched and come to the House with the answer. Probably it might not satisfy you, but you can say, right?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. So the question to Madam Minister: when do you intend to establish the proposed Blue Economy Commission?
Very well. Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much. I apologize for not being so explicit in my response. I thought it was inferred. I said that the National Blue Economy Strategy is before Cabinet now. So when Cabinet goes through the process and gives the approval, that is only when we can establish the commission. Second thing, we don't know as at now whether the appropriate institutional mechanism for implementing the Ghana National Blue Economy Strategy will be the commission. Work has been done, is before Cabinet. Cabinet will study it, we will discuss, and the agreement will come whether we set up a Blue Economy Commission or we set up something else. We do not know yet. As soon as Cabinet gives approval, then we will know the when and the legal and regulatory framework, if necessary, that will accompany the establishment and implementation of the Ghana Blue Economy Strategy. Thank you.
Very well. Yes. Honorable Oponkroma.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Still looking for some clarity. Honorable Minister, by which time does the ministry expect that these internal consultations will be completed for the strategy document to be approved by Cabinet?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. When we started the process, we reached out to the African Union Inter-African Bureau on Animal Resources, AU-IBAR. AU-IBAR has written to us that they are interested in coming to support the process. AU-IBAR has just said that they would work within this last quarter So what they are going to do is to come to the country, take what we have developed already, sort of add value, and also review, especially for me, the institutional arrangements, and then Cabinet will take the final decision. I am certain that by the first quarter of 2026, we will have a clear pathway. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kojo, I wouldn't give you a second opportunity. So let me go to Dr. Brie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, my question is, how, in your opinion, do you think the Commission would contribute to the development of your sector, that is the fisheries and aquaculture sector?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. Blue economy is, if you like, the new kid of the block. It used to be sustainable development, but it's broader now. So you have different sectors under the blue economy. You have energy, you have transport, you have tourism, you have fisheries, and a couple of others. The important thing about applying or looking at the fisheries resources from a blue economy lens is that it broadens the scope and it makes intercoordination easy. So in the blue economy strategy, we have issues, themes, 6 themes: blue health, blue finance, blue safety and security, and others, especially blue equity. So it expands the scope of how you engage actors in your sector. It also supports fish stocks and resource management. Within the blue economy scope is also the issue of conservation and marine resources management. So there are many different ways through which the blue economy supports Ghana's fisheries, especially working together with the different sectors that all come under the blue economy, so that struggles over who accesses the resources or who has more control over the ocean resources is dealt with at a table, at a go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me go to Dr. Kabiru. Honorable members, we are working within time, so yes, Dr. Kabiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my question is a very simple question. I want to find out from the minister whether the blue water guards form part of this whole blue economy as explained by the minister. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, respectfully, I wouldn't admit that question. So let me go to Juabin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to find out from the minister. From her answer, she said that Cabinet Interministerial Technical Team. I want to know the ministries which form part of the Interministerial Technical Team on this one.
Very well. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. So the ministries are as follows: Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture, Ministry of Energy, Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. And so yes, there's some connection with the blue water guards. And then also the National Development Planning Commission, though it's not a ministry, because of its responsibility of overall planning for Ghana, we included them. And then the important 24-hour secretariat, yes, because blue economy goes beyond just oceans to cover water body. It's about aquatic bodies. And in Ghana, one of our largest, most important water bodies is the Volta Lake. And if 24-hour economy is doing the Volta Economic Corridor, then it just makes sense that you include them in the blue economy development. And the way forward in blue economy is also aquaculture. Way forward, the aquaculture is on that sector of the country, on the Volta Lake, and all of its tributaries. So yes, we included the 24-hour secretariat in this exercise for a holistic, forward-thinking national strategy. Thank you.
Yes, leader. I've given him the opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, the minister may be reminded that not long ago, our respected colleague from Ofuasia Yebi had drawn the attention of government to its inability to announce policy in this chamber, yet ministers talk about it. In the dispatch box, you are talking about a 24-hour economy, a policy document that's not before us, and you are suggesting to us that this your blue economy is part of the ecosystem of this your so-called 24-hour economy. May I know from you, Honorable Minister? May I know from you, Honorable Minister, whether this your blue economy program you are talking about found space in your manifesto? Because, for instance, when Akufo-Addo implemented free SHS had already been stated in the MPP manifesto for the 2016 election.
Yes, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, the reason why I, the Minister of
Minister,
Mr. Speaker, the only reason why I, the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture, tends to be the one foremost.
Honorable members, I am repeating to you that the noise is too much. Let's listen to the minister. Yes, Minister.
The reason why, Mr. Speaker, that I, the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture, tend to be the one speaking the most about the blue economy is because in the NDC's 2024 election manifesto, mention was made of establishing the Blue Economy Commission under the fisheries sector. It was actually when we started the work that we realized that fisheries, blue economy cannot be under one particular sector. Hence, the interministerial cabinet approval, request and approval for the interministerial committee and the intersectoral technical team to come together to work. Mr. Speaker, 24-hour economy is not a subset of the blue economy. It's the other way around. And Mr. Speaker, I am unaware that, so far as I'm concerned, there's been a lot of work that has been done on the 24-hour economy. It has been launched. Okay, then maybe to this house is alien. Okay, fine. But, so whatever. Sorry. Mr. Speaker, apologies for speaking using unparliamentary language. So far as I am aware, as a minister of this republic, the 24-hour economy is an integral part of our development agenda. And for what they stand to do, it was important that they were reflected in the blue economy strategy development. We are not interested in piecemeal approaches. We are thinking through, forward-looking, so that we can develop this country to another level altogether in the short time that Ghanaians have given us. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister acknowledges the fact that the period given them to govern is short. Yet, according to her, they are now doing some further consultation. So as we speak, that blue economy policy, which according to her was part of the NDC manifesto and part of the 24-hour economy ecosystem policy, has not been implemented. May I know from her whether or not we should expect something on this blue economy in the 2026 budget?
Yes, Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. In the first place, I'm not the finance minister. In the second place, I have just announced here that there's a process underway and we are hopeful that, in fact, the question was asked here and I said that we are hopeful that by the first quarter of next year, the strategy may be ready. When the strategy is ready, it comes with an implementation plan. That a cost will be given to the implementation plan. And in fact, as I speak to you right now, I have a Norwegian mission in country that are seeking scoping for a continuation of a partnership we had with them that is ending. And the partnership is called Oceans for Development Cooperation. And they're already eager to support Ghana's Blue Economy National Strategy implementation. So we will start from there, and then we will put cost to it for government to find the rest of the money. When that happens, I cannot stand here and say so. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure of the interpretation that the minority leader gives to my statement that we have a short time to govern. When we went to the polls in 2024, Ghanaians gave us 4 years to come and deal with the problems
Thank
of
you.
this economy.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the minister is careful in choosing his words. Please don't put words in the minister. Yes, leader.
Mr. Speaker, the majority leader is anxious to re-examine the minister. He should be patient. Minister, you are using the dispatch board to do politics. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. You want to use, because you saw your majority leader, you now have the energy to do politics. That's what you want to do. Mr. Speaker, the minister talks about a pact we have with respect to the Norwegian mission and some work we've been doing as part of this whole ecosystem. She may be aware that the Norwegian government, the Norwegian parliament, has actually ratified the double taxation agreement. Right. It's all part of this. And we have not. As part of the strategies, in full implementation, can she assure this House that she will take steps in ensuring that that agreement is ratified by this parliament, so that our people can also benefit in terms of this policy that is being rolled out? Can you assure us?
Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, this double taxation arrangement does not fall under my ministry. It falls under Ministry of Finance. I cannot stand here in the dispatch box and commit the Minister of Finance.
Yes,
Mr. Speaker, she knows that. She knows. Very well, very well. Mr. Speaker, I won't belabor. It's not everything that you have to fight. She knows that at the heart of that agreement is her sector variables. You know, well, mainly your sector, and you know that. But anyway, we don't have to belabor. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, my colleague, the Minority Chief Whip, wants to have his bite. But may I know from the minister whether at all the ministry is guided by the essence of time in the matter of this blue economy?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are guided by the agency of time.
Very well. Yes. Honorable members, let's get this. Even though it's questions time, so that's why I always look at the back. Once the leader speaks, it becomes a bit difficult for me to call somebody else. So let me, leader, let me indulge Honorable Dompre.
Speaker.
It's only 27 minutes.
Speaker, may I have the attention of the minister, my friend? Let me begin by quoting a very important portion of her answers. Right Honorable Speaker, Ghana's blue economy relies on the interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, climate resilience and human well-being, supporting sectors such as fisheries, maritime transport, tourism, oil and gas, renewable energy, on and on. Speaker, the minister has elucidated on critical variables in the concept of blue economy development. Now, I wish to know from my good friend, if it is not a mere concept which is still hanging in the balance, can the minister tell us all the variables I spoke to? Climate resilience, oil and gas, interconnectedness of water bodies, oceans and rivers, in the face of all the water pollution we are having in our country. Can she itemize the achievement in these areas? Yes.
Minister, are you minded to respond to that question? Very well.
Mr. Speaker, he says that I should itemize achievements that have been made in the different variables that interconnect. Mr. Speaker, that is almost a full question on its own.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I may ask the House to allow me the next question time that I get the opportunity or he should file a question. Okay.
Thank you. Honorable Minority Whip, I indulge you, but it's obviously a heavy duty for her. That's not why he was brought here. So you can file a question to her if you are mindful.
Speaker, I will never challenge you.
Very well.
I will never challenge you. But we will have this conversation some other day.
Very well. So we turn to question 354. I beg of you. Question 354. And the question stands in the name of a member for Achumangwa Biaja South, Honorable Shari Chain. Honorable, you have the floor now.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture when the Anobabu Fisheries College will be fully operationalized and what academic programs will be introduced for the first cohort in the 2025-2026 academic year.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to the President's directive on the completion and operationalization of the Fisheries College, measures are actively underway to complete and operationalize the Anamabu Fisheries College, a project first initiated in 2013 under the tenure of His Excellency President John Mahama. In this regard, the ministry has awarded contracts required for the completion of outstanding works and for the procurement of necessary office equipment, furniture, and laboratory apparatus. Additionally, a technical committee has been established by the ministry to develop the administrative and governance framework for the college, as well as to recommend appropriate academic courses and programs, and the kind of college it will be, and the kind of academic year that the college will apply. The committee is expected to submit its report in due course. Thank you very much.
Yes, Honorable Chair, any further questions?
Yes, please. Minister, you mentioned that contracts have been awarded for the completion of the outstanding works. Could you indicate when these contracts are expected to be completed and the college operationalized?
Yes, he didn't hear. Can you please repeat the question? The minister didn't hear.
Minister, I'm just asking if you could give more clarity on when you've awarded contracts for outstanding works to be completed. Could you let us know when this you are looking for the completion and for when it would be fully operationalized?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much for the question. Our intention was to have the completion by end of this year and then operationalize as well. But from every intent and purposes, it looks like it's likely to be the first quarter of 2026 when the remaining works will be completed and the place will be operationalized fully. Thank you very much.
Very well.
Minister, could you also indicate the total cost of the remaining works? And I know there was an allocation of over 81 million in the 2025 budget. How much of this has been earmarked specifically for the completion and staffing and operationalization of the college?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. All of that has gone into, or is going to go into the completion. Staffing was not part of the budget that was allocated. It's now that the committee that is working on curriculum development and academic and governance structure is also going to recommend to us the staffing requirements. So that's when we will have a conversation on that. Thank you very much.
I'll give you the last chance.
Okay, thank you, Speaker. Minister, in your response, you stated that there has been a setup of a committee for the governance and academic framework. Could you also update the House on the progress made so far with this committee, especially with regards to when the first cohorts would be admitted? Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. The committee was given a 2-month work period, and the 2-month elapses end of next month. So that is when they will bring their report. As to when the first cohort will start, I cannot speak to that now because we do not have the staffing and all of those things that need to be in place for teaching and learning. So I cannot speak to that yet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Honorable Member for Fantiman.
Fantiman, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I need to find out from the Minister.
I think Anmabu is in your constituency.
Thank you, yes, it's my constituency. The Minister.
And the question came from somebody else.
Yes. As a collaboration to support to make sure that it's done.
Let
me commend the Minister for the great work done so far. The Minister is not only fulfilling campaign promise, but bringing the blessings of people who are ready to go to school in that field. I want to find out from the Minister whether the scope of the construction of the university covers the Nsanfu Road that connects to the school. Thank you.
Yes. Did you get a question?
Whether the project connects to a particular road, in Nsanfu Road, I can't speak to that. I know that what the contract that has been given, the road construction, is the roads within the campus and from the main junction to the campus and to the principal's accommodation. But I'm not sure it connects to any road outside of the project site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, let's turn to question 355. 355. Honorable Elvis Oseme Sadapa, Afano Southwest. Yes.
It's a follow-up. Okay, follow-up.
No supplementary question.
Yes, Honorable Member for Swaman.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I come under 88.3. I have the authority by the honorable member to ask the question on his behalf. Speaker, may I seek your leave?
Well, leave granted.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the measures the ministry has taken to ensure the timely completion of outstanding components of the Anomabo Fisheries College infrastructure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Is it not the same question?
No.
Okay, you yes. Tell the House.
Mr. Speaker, the question is just what I had finished answering. I don't know if I should still answer, but the response I put here is the ministry has awarded contracts to finalize the remaining infrastructure at the college. The objective is to have
Honorable
the
Minister,
construction.
if that is exactly the answer, then let's move on. So we turn to question 358. Question 358. Honorable Gloria Owusu-Trobo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to ask the Minister for Fisheries and Aquaculture the steps the ministry has taken to intensify biosecurity protocol in aquaculture, including fish diseases genetics training, equality assurance, and improved fish genetics. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Right, Honorable Speaker, the Fisheries Commission, in collaboration with the Veterinary Services Directorate, strengthened fish health management through enhanced biosecurity, disease surveillance, diagnostics, and control measures. A total of 612 stakeholders, including farmers, input dealers, and technical officers, have been trained nationwide to improve disease prevention, early detection, and response, thereby enhancing the resilience and productivity of the aquaculture sector. In addition, to strengthen diagnostic capacity, 3 regional laboratories in Kumasi, Ho, and Koforidua have been equipped with modern instruments through support from the government of Norway under the Fish for Development program. A new aquatic animal histopathology laboratory has also been established, while the West African Center for Cell Biology of Infectious Pathogens at the University of Ghana has been upgraded to support molecular diagnostics for timely disease detection and control. These interventions reflect the continued resolve to strengthen disease prevention systems, protect livelihoods, and enhance productivity in the aquaculture sector. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Gloria, any further questions?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Minister, can you explain how the 612 people trained has been helped to use what they have learned in their daily works?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much. So through this training, they are able to identify any signs of fish health or fish disease, and they reach out to the Fisheries Commission staff, who immediately also reach out to the veterinary colleagues, and what has to be done is done. It is through the training that led us to identify some fish health diseases in the Elembele district. And it is through this training that action has been taken and specimen has been taken and sent abroad for investigations to understand exactly what is happening with the fish in that particular water body. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Gloria.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Minister, how will the ministry continue the Fish for Development program after the support from Norway end?
Did you get a question? Very well.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I just alluded to it. The Fish for Development program